it's me again, and it's time for another thrilling edition of Comics and Cocktails, where I drink more alcohol than I rightfully need at 3 o'clock on a Thursday night and talk about comics. And I know it's been a while since I was here, but that was because of reasons and stuff and things. And now I've seen Captain America, Civil War, Avengers 3, and I was going to do that joke in reverse, because I thought about it in my head, where I was going to say Avengers 3, Civil War, Captain America, or something. But then when it actually came down to it, I forgot that I was going to do that, and I didn't do that joke. But that's what could have happened if I wasn't drunk and actually wrote these, instead of just doing it entirely off the cuff and in one take. Because despite saying I'm going to edit these eventually, I have not yet. And I have no intention to in the near future. But hopefully, one day, eventually. Also, I'm wearing my Ant-Man shirt, which is awesome because it's comic book Ant-Man. And it's probably showing up backwards because I think that's what my webcam does. But Ant-Man is the best, and everybody else can suck it. Anyway, today's comic. Oh, but he wasn't the best in this movie. He was actually kind of annoying. And I have a lot of feelings about going giant because, okay. So, number one, going giant with pin particles is probably, the worst possible thing you can do to your body ever. Seriously, it has almost given Hank, a heart... I think it has given Hank a heart attack. But it's given him, heart problems, and he keeps doing it. And the Lang family actually kind of has a history with heart problems. So I feel like Scott, in particular, should avoid it. And also, Also, why would Falcon be like, hey, this guy fought me one time, so, I think he'll help us out now. Why would he? Anyway, today's comic cocktail was, originally it was Black Russian, but then I put too much vodka in it, and so I put it in some Baileys, so that might make it a White Russian, but I don't think so. I don't know what you put in a White Russian. Anyway, it's all gone now, so let us never speak of it again. Okay, so, saw the movie, and number one, it's a complete mistake to name it Civil War, because it has fuck all to do with the comics, the comic book Civil War. And if you compare it to Civil War, then it makes the movie look really bad, because number one, Civil War in the comics had, a lot of build-up, and it had, a lot more characters, and it had a lot more chance to, deal with, the issue it was bringing up. Having it in, a movie universe where there's a grand total of, 14 superheroes, it's well, this isn't really a war, this is more of a spat, isn't it? And also, just, none of this seemed to really develop for anything. I feel like Tony... I don't think they know what they want to do with Tony. They have to have him doing stuff, but they just keep on coming up with, they're not developing his character in the MCU at all. They keep on having him, oh, well... the first Iron Man, he was angsting over the fact that he messed up because if he has a weapons company. And then the next Iron Man, I don't remember what was going. What was he? Oh, he was angsting about his dad. And I'm trying to think about something. And then he had the thing with the suits, and then, he was talking about, oh, we need to have protection from aliens, and then this is his, issue of the week, I guess, and he's like, oh, well, now I threw a dart at a board, and now I feel guilty about some random kid getting killed, so I'm gonna bring in this other kid to put him in danger. So that will definitely ease my conscience, because I know that dangerous person, Captain America, is off the streets. at the cost of endangering a 16-year-old with a squeaky toy voice. What else? Okay, so this movie, like, I'm trying to remember what happened in the movie now, and it's really hard, which is probably because of the alcohol, but also because the movie, like, it was a lot of, like, really good moments. Like, there were a lot of really good moments. There were a lot of moments where I was like, oh my god, look, a thing is happening. Like, look, Clint shot Scott off of his arrow. That's a thing that happened in the comics, so I enjoyed that. And, oh my gosh, Scott went big, and it's not as annoying as I thought it would be. And then, like, 5 minutes later, I was thinking about it, no, that's exactly as annoying as I thought it would be, because I really didn't like Scott in this movie. I actually enjoyed Scott in Ant-Man, although I feel like I need to rewatch Ant-Man to see if I actually enjoyed it, because now I kind of don't remember anything about it, except I remember that Scott was like, oh, I don't want to hurt you, Hope, and then she punched him in the face, and then he was like, I don't want to hurt you, Natasha, and then she kicked him in the balls. Like, why do you not let your characters develop? Let him, like, learn from this, and now he won't, like, you know, be braggadocious and sexist. You know, you'd think after getting beat up one time for underestimating somebody because they're a girl and he's got, like, prison cred, he's not a hardened criminal. Like, people know this, right? Like, I mean, he's been to jail, but it's not like it was for something, you know, badass. It was for, like, safe cracking. And, you know, until a couple years ago, it wasn't even implied that much that it was, like, he's not this hardened criminal person. It, like, he didn't seem that, I don't even know why I'm talking about this. I don't know. Why was I talking about that? I don't know. Scott had no business being in this movie. Spider-Man had no business being in this movie. Everybody else was kind of tangentially connected, but, like, you know, if you wanted to make Avengers 3, make Avengers 3. If you wanted to make Captain America 3, make Captain America 3. And I feel like this had too much going on for it to really feel like a Captain America movie. Like, yes, it was mostly told from Steve's perspective, but, like, he didn't kick off the initial plot. He didn't, like, because the initial plot was kicked off by Wanda. And so, you know, it doesn't really make any sense, you know. And then, like, you know, why is any of this happening? Why is it called Civil War? Also, I don't think they presented both sides of the argument very well. I think from what they presented, Tony's argument was correct. His actions were wrong, which is, you know, accurate for Tony. But, you know, him saying, you know, the Avengers need to be kept in check, you know, that's a correct statement. And Steve going, you know, I don't care about what the UN says or what any, like, 117 countries say. I'm going to do what I want. And Tony's like, no, look, we need to compromise, and then you'll sort that later. And then he's like, no, Sharon Carter said, don't compromise, so I won't. And they didn't really flesh out Steve's standpoint. Like, just saying, oh, well, the UN wants us to be kept accountable. And then Steve's like, no, we should be free to do what we want, because what we want will be the right thing, and the UN has an agenda, because the Avengers don't have an agenda, which they do. Everybody has an agenda. Steve's agenda is to, like, punch everybody in the face if they're a bully, in his mind. And then, what else was I going to say? I was going to say something else. Also, I was going to shut the door so that my girlfriend wouldn't come in, but I didn't, but I don't see my girlfriend, so we're probably fine. And I only have a little while to keep talking, because I try to limit myself to 10 minutes on these. Anyway, so, like, oh, Zemo. What the fuck was Zemo? Like, if you're gonna name something after something in the comics, try to, like, have it have, like, some connection. Like, I mean, I noticed in the credits they didn't call him Helmut Zemo specifically, or even Baron Zemo, but everybody knows Zemo by Zemo. Who knows Zemo? And, you know, why are you doing? Like, he had nothing to do with Zemo. He wasn't Zemo. His character didn't add anything by being connected to Zemo. Like, you might as well just make him an OC. But also, Spider-Man had no place in this movie, and Scott had no place in this movie, and T'Challa was awesome. I have to say that T'Challa was awesome, and T'Challa should be in like every movie from now on, and forever. Oh, also I confess I don't know that much about Bucky in the comics, but I don't really get the logic on on icing him again at the end. But like, I mean, it feels like it's an issue with like actor contracting, but that doesn't make sense because I don't know of any issues going on with Sebastian Stan. But like, you're not going to solve psychological problems by putting him on ice. You're going to solve psychological problems and, undoing brainwashing by like him being awake and like, dealing with that with like a bunch of like people and stuff. Like, I get that he doesn't want to be like, sleeper agent triggered again, but I don't see how you can fix that with him on ice. That didn't make much sense. And yeah, I feel like the focus should have been on just, Steve and Bucky. And you could have done basically the same story without including Civil War stuff. You just have, somebody make Bucky do something bad. And then T'Challa is going after Bucky because he killed his dad. And then Steve's fighting him, and the government's like, Steve, stop, don't do that. And then they're like, hey guys, Steve isn't listening to us, Tony, go after him. And then you could have had basically the same plot. I mean, you could have even had the Zemo bit. And then not had the Civil War. And then later on down the road, in a few years, because I'm pretty sure the Marvel MCU was unkillable for a while. Speaking of Doctor Strange, which I didn't actually speak of it, I just thought of Doctor Strange. Do Benedict Cumberbatch and Martin Freeman have some sort of like thing in their contract that if one of them enters into something, they both have to enter into something? Because since Sherlock, they keep on like showing up in things together. Like, because they showed up in Hobbit together, and now they're both in the MCU. And it's like, why? Anyway, I've gone over time by about 3 minutes, so I'm gonna just leave and stop ranting, because I've been ranting since we got out of the movie. Honestly, I've been ranting. It kind of annoyed everybody around me, but I have so many questions and no answers. Bye.